this kind of recent thing that's been going around is that, you know, it doesn't matter what weights you train with, it matters how you train with those weights, which is true. You know, there's nothing about that statement that isn't true. But what is a problem with that statement when you pull it apart is that, like, the load in your hands does matter to an extent. If you are using loads that are repeatedly very easy, or the level of perceived exertion is low, you're not actually putting a level of intent, focus, power into the exercise. In my opinion, you're cutting yourself short, especially towards like the natural community, because we often have this self-limiting principle of we can only get so strong. Therefore, we only use a certain amount of weight because we're putting that box on what we can do. I think that you need to get stronger over the course of time. Like, internal feel, don't get me wrong, that should set the baseline of how you're trying to connect with that muscle group. But that's then given you, like, for example, it's given you the arm path you should follow on a lat movement. Should you be making ginormous progressions from week to week? No. But should you be fixating around this like perfect setup in terms of execution? No, I don't think so. There's exercises that favor themselves to maybe being a little bit more focused on execution, mind muscle connection, where the progressions are inevitably smaller. Like, for example, a side lateral, anything that's for sort of focusing directly on training the medial head of the delts. That's probably not going to be an exercise where you're going to be seeing a ton of progression. You're probably going to be using very similar weights for a long period of time. You can progress that over the course of time by making it potentially harder in terms of your level of execution, your level of intent, your level of skill. But then there's other exercises where, in my opinion, again, once you've got that safety, once you've got that execution nailed down, that's so simple, it's just something like, okay, where is the elbow going? I keep talking about back because I'm so passionate about back, and this, in my opinion, does show in my client results, and it does show in my clients on stage. If I've been working with a client for, let's say they come to me with a really poor back, and I've been working with them for 2 years, they won't have a bad back anymore. They will not. Even Kez is a great example. He used to get told his back was terrible, he needed to bring it up. And now he's getting told, what did you do for your back? You know, how you trained your back? And actually, one of the things with Kez, funnily enough, was that Kez was an athlete that just chased internal feel. He constantly tried to find the muscle. He was definitely more in that camp where it was, if it doesn't feel good, it doesn't matter. You know, so if it doesn't feel good, the moment it doesn't feel good, in fact, he'd regress, because he'd think that he'd lost stimulus. When in actual fact, not everything's going to give you a crazy internal feel. You know, it's like asking, should I feel my hamstrings squeezing and contracting or being used in a heavy RDL set? No, you shouldn't. You know, should you come out of the set and feel like you worked your posterior chain and that you've just done a hard set and, you know, your eyes might be bloodshot, and you need to sit down to gather yourself? Yes, that's how you should feel after an RDL. You know, if you feel like you've got, you know, perfect hamstring connection the whole way through, then I'd question as to what you're thinking about. The RDL is moving a weight to, like, you know, mid shin and then getting back up with it. As long as you've done that under control, you've ticked the boxes of that exercise. I think maybe there's a few athletes that are going too far down the route of thinking about the functions of the muscles we're trying to train. Brilliant. But then thinking about staying internally connected with that muscle the whole way through, which in reality it's not going to happen on every single exercise that you do in the gym. If your intensity is high, your volume is most likely going to be a little lower. If your intensity is lower, your volume can potentially be a little bit higher. I think something that maybe I've been called out upon a few times is that I am preaching that only low volume works. I'm not necessarily preaching that. I'm just preaching that if you want to learn to train at a higher intensity, you've probably got to follow that suit with a lower volume approach, because otherwise you're